Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Scott, owner of Three Rivers Painting, and I'm driving into a job site this morning, and actually get some paint, and driving to two different job sites that I am tying up and starting today. Actually, I have three going on, and that's the purpose for this video and why I wanted to put this quick video together. So this video is designed for anybody that's starting a serviced business. You're probably most likely going to start as just a solo operator, unless you've got some business acumen, some experience running other businesses where you can jump right into it and get payroll set up, get marketing, and you got some capital to throw around to float some overhead for some jobs before you collect some profit after paying out your guys. Most people are going to slowly build their company, and hence the reason why they're getting into a service business to begin with. And the benefits to a service business is that, and I've made another video on this before, is that you can, like when I started my painting business, even though I have experience doing it, you virtually need like no capital. Like you could literally rent a sprayer, you could ask for a deposit from the client. I mean, I guess you need a vehicle to get there, but you could ask for a deposit, which would, and that deposit money would allow you to get a paintbrush, paint rollers, supplies, probably drops, and the only thing that you'd be out that you might have to pay out of pocket for would be renting a sprayer for a daily rate and renting some ladders or purchasing them used offline. So if you wanted to actually purchase these things, you know, maybe $500 to $1,000 you could start it with, you know, maybe less than that, and you could slowly acquire them. So that's why service businesses, there's a low barrier to entry. And you would think that with a low barrier to entry that the market's saturated and everyone's like competing on price. But we're having a cultural shift taking place here for whatever reason, where there is a shortage of skilled tradesmen. And I've made another video on this as well, where there's not a lot of new young blood getting into the trade. So if you are, you know, at an age where you've got a few years under your belt and you've got the competence to go in and start doing side jobs for more money than your employer would pay you, or actually start your own business, there's a lot of opportunity there. And that's why I got into it, is there's low barrier to entry and not a lot of capital startup. The downside to it is it's either you on the job and it's hard physical labor work, or you have to build a company where somebody else is doing the work for you. But one of the reasons that outside of just that point that I wanted to make for this video, is one of the hard lessons that I learned when I started my painting business, because I live in a seasonal state that has winter, and because of that, there is a season. With seasonal businesses, you're going to have months, if you collect the data, you're going to have months that show your most profitable months, and then you're going to show where the months that are slower, where you need to either advertise more or offer incentives to get work. And usually, in my experience, I would say from November to March are my slowest. That's when my sales slow down. That's when I win a job, it's not as high ticket of a job, and if it is a higher ticket job, I have to, in many cases, offer a discount to secure that work. Now, there are a few exceptions to that, but generally what I've found is in the wintertime, if Mrs. Jones, who's retired and has a lot of money to throw around, is just bored and she wants to refinish her cabinets, she might start shopping around. Well, most painters during that time frame are going to be slow. And even I've witnessed this, where even the biggest painting companies in my area, I've lost bids to before, which are known to be the most expensive. I've lost bids to them in the wintertime. And what that tells me is that these guys are smart, right? They collect data too. And they know that, guys, we can't, our close rate is significantly lower in the wintertime. Like, the calls come in at half or a quarter of the call volume that they do in the spring, summer, and fall. And when we do get those calls to come in, the quality of clientele, because it's lower volume, it's rolling the dice. Like, you may have a great client or you may not, and it's a 50-50. And in the summertime, if you get 5 leads that come in, and of those 5, 3 of them are cheapskates, where they're looking for the absolute cheapest person, and they're not really serious, and they're just bored and retired, you know. Well, in the wintertime, if you have no work on the books for a month, or for that week, or the next 2 weeks, and that Karen calls up, and she wants a good deal, and you've got no work, you either have to dip into your savings and take that time unpaid, or you have to work out something that would allow her to perceive this is an incentivization, or incentivize her to see the value in hiring you if you give her something in exchange for your services, like a discount, or hey, I'll add this on for free, or if you hire me at this rate, then I'll give you a coupon for the next year or 2 for your next exterior project, where we'll do a free gutter clean when we paint your house, or we'll give you a $500 coupon towards your next full exterior project, which is valid for the next year. Something that is like an incentivization, where it's like, yeah, she can still price you out for that exterior project, but she's seeing value in it. She's seeing that, and her perception is that she's getting something for nothing, or the what she's paying, the value of what she's getting for a service is greater than what she's giving away for her money. So that's just like sales 101. And trust me, I'm not a good salesman. I've been fired from sales jobs, but I do know painting, and I've listened to other gurus and smart cookies that have built 7 to 8 figure businesses. And these guys were nice enough to share their information. And talking to other painters, you just start to learn different strategies that work for different guys when you become part of these communities, which I'm very thankful for. But I went off track with a little bit of a background on some of the things that are just on my mind. But the purpose for this video is more about cross projects. So when I first started, I would say, hey, I'm dedicating to your project. A lot of contractors come and go. We'll come in, I'll get it done. Well, in the springtime, you get a lot of rain. You get sporadic weather. You could have a project that takes longer than anticipated. So what I learned is, don't ever give somebody a definitive date unless you've got a team where you can dedicate a team to getting to that, regardless of where you are in the schedule and your calendar. But if you're a solo operator, or you've got a small team, and you're primarily working together a lot, or if you do split up, it's just between 2 jobs, you're kind of capped on your availability and how fast you can get something done. And you feel like you can't mentally or physically take a break, so you end up working yourself to the bone. Like, I'm burnt out right now. I've been burnt out for a while. I still get up and I can get stuff done. I just need to have basically like a day or 2 to rest my back and just not think about work. And that's hard this time of the season. A lot of times I'm working a Saturday, sometimes even a Sunday if I'm behind schedule. I try to at least take Sundays off now. And just if I want extra money or need extra money, or need to move something in the calendar, schedule-wise, I'll work on Saturday. But yeah, I'm not becoming much of a fan of this anymore, to be honest with you. I'm at a point where I need to either hire more people and scale back on the amount of physical labor hours I'm putting in, or I need to just double my rates basically and take half the work, which I'd rather take the latter. But we'll see how that goes. So when you're starting out, don't be afraid to take multiple projects. A lot of contractors get a bad rap for not showing up on time, not communicating, and that's pretty much the 2 biggest drivers. Like most painters that are in business for themselves, some will do some shoddy work, but most know how to do a pretty decent quality finished project. And if there is any touch-ups or something that they missed, or a problematic area like flashing, where you're spraying and the sun dried when you're trying to spray a wall by yourself, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Jones, I'll just recoat it real quick and then we'll take care of it. And then she's like, okay, you're the best, Scott. Perfect. So as long as the end project is a high quality finish and the client is happy and you get paid appropriately, most people are doing that, right? But it's the communication and basically over-promising and under-delivering. And what I've found I do now is I tell people, sense of urgency, and it also increases your market value, is to tell people, if you're booked out till summer, I'm not saying to lie, but it's you got to give yourself cushion. So they don't need to know every minute facet and detail of your life. If you're going on vacation, they don't need to know that, right? They just need to know, when is your availability if I was to hire you. And what you want to tell them is, okay, what I tell them is there's a lot of variables such as weather, manpower. We can have projects that take a little longer. Sometimes we can get through them quicker. And depending on the size of the job, if it's a smaller deck or fence job, not a full exterior or a smaller paint job, like one side of the house, I'll let them know, hey, are you okay being a fill-in? Are you okay with me coming in on the weekend? And if they work with me, I kind of work with them. And then it reduces my stress. I'm not stressed out because I know they're like, hey, Scott, I get it, you're busy. As long as you just put me on the schedule and keep me posted, I'm happy. I understand you guys are running around. Those are most people are normal, decent human beings. But there is every once in a while people that want you to pencil in a specific day, or there's more of a sense of urgency. And if somebody wants you to get in there and they want you to get it done sooner than later, then you should be charging appropriately for that. It's always mind blowing me when I've had people that have turned around and told me that they need to get their project done in spring. They're calling me when there's like 1 to 2 months left before spring, and they're letting me know that they want me to come in at springtime and get it done, and I'm already booked out till summer or fall. It's like, you're calling 2 months before spring picks up? You think I just leave my schedule open and then take everything like last minute? No, like when spring started, I was already almost booked out into like early midsummer. Like that's how fast it books up, and it gets busier every year. So you should be charging accordingly. And when your schedule is full, you can either continue to charge what you want and hire manpower, or you can just increase your rates. Be like, look, I got not a lot of capacity left, so I'm just going to not jack your rates, but increase them enough where that you're getting profit margins, so that your business doesn't die, so that you can actually survive and put food on the table for your family and live a good quality of life, and not be, somebody that's just struggling to pay their bills. Like I make good money, but I'm still almost paycheck to paycheck because I'm supporting a whole friggin' family, which I'm happy and I'm proud to do, to be the provider. But it's like, with inflation and everything, literally, I should be doubling my rates, and a lot of painting companies have. And if anybody questions it, hey, this is my rate. You don't have to justify it. This is what it is. So I used to commit to one job. We'd get a week of rain. Now I've taken 3 to 5 days unpaid. So what I've done now is tell people, look, if we get some rain, I'm going to bounce around. There's not going to be a set time. Maybe then we come. It might be mid-morning some days. If it's springtime, we might not have viable temperatures that are warm enough to stain your deck until mid-morning or 11 or 12 in the afternoon. But I'll keep you posted. We're gonna try to wrestle through this and get this done in the most efficient way possible, given all of the variables and moving parts that we deal with as contractors. Is that cool? And most of the time they're gonna say, yeah, cool, Scott. Comprende. We're good to go. Okay. So don't be one of those people that over promises, and I'll be there tomorrow at 8 a.m. sharp, and then you take 2 days to get back to the client. That's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. What I do is tell people, hey, you might not be until fall I get to this. And you know what? Giving them the worst case scenario up front, they're like, okay, now they expect that. And then when I call them up in July and say, hey, Miss Jones, we got a schedule shift. I know I said fall, but we can get in and stain that 5 acres of your fencing. Probably be in there in the next day or two to pressure wash it. Is that cool? Absolutely. Then they're ecstatic and they leave a good review, like, hey, he even came in sooner than he promised. So it's always better to under promise and over deliver than to over promise and under deliver, because bad news travels better than fast news and good news. And like, even with the clients I've done excellent work for, I send them the link to leave me a review. There's still some that are like, you were awesome, Scott, and they still don't leave the review. I haven't had any bad reviews. I've had some bad experiences with clients, but I've never had, which is very rare. It was more when I was starting out. But 9 times out of 10, it's more when you're starting out and you're learning the hard lessons of like, oh, I won't do that again. I won't do this again. Or this is something that was a high profitable job. This is the type of client I want to work for. This is the neighborhood I want to get into. So it takes time. It does. It takes time to get a good base of quality clients. When you're starting out, if you're using lead platforms or you're just doing general Facebook ads, whatever, you're going to get all kinds of people calling. If you put yard signs, I don't even put yard signs out. You put a yard sign out, you're going to have some meth head painter that doesn't know how to price his job or run it, and he's all mad he doesn't have any work in the middle of the hottest season. So he's going to come by drunk at night and get out and kick your sign and break it and steal it because he thinks you're taking his work, even though the guy is just a deadbeat and doesn't know how to manage his own life, let alone a business. So I I don't put yard signs out anymore. I don't even advertise on my vehicle. And that might change at some point, but right now I have a sustainable amount of call volume coming in where I just basically put content online. I'd rather put content online of people seeing my work and seeing my face. They don't need to see my truck driving around with my name on it, okay? Now, if you are trying to scale your business, then yes, you want to do that. You want to plaster your shit everywhere. But if you're planning to just start out and for the first 1, 2, 3, 5 years of your business, you're looking to just do a slow growth to find your niche, and you're testing waters, you're figuring out pricing, you're figuring out neighborhoods, clients, seasonality, you start collecting this data, then you're prepared. Usually by like year 3 to 5, you're like, okay, I've learned a couple hard lessons, I know how to price it. You start getting information from homeowners on what other people are pricing. You understand, you piece together the puzzle where you can then figure out, you've built a base, you've built a reputation where you know what other people are charging, and you can even charge above them and still secure work because you get better at what you do, you've built your brand, and you know how to sell it. So I hope that helps for today, guys, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you go out and make those tendies. Take it easy.